Equities, fixed income, currencies, commodities, and of course derivatives. This is Markets Today afternoon version. I am your host, George Bodo, co-hosting with Mbide Mwema. Mbide Mwema,
yes.
Welcome.
Thank you.
We have a lot of things we're looking forward to. First of all, we have an enriching discussion with Maureen Kirigua of African Alliance Securities. We're talking telcos, a lot of things. The telecom conversion seems never to go away. Lots of things to churn out of telco. Today we are talking about the competitiveness, infrastructure sharing, spectrum allocation, on-net discounts, promotions, whether it's something that should be banned or should be there, but we're discussing the competitiveness of the sector as a whole. We also look at the markets. We have market close at 3 p.m. And just before the market closed, in just about 15 minutes, turnover is really, really low. 146 million shillings worth of Kenyan shillings traded since morning. Of course, Safaricom leading the pack. Obviously, it's a very sad day. We woke up with the news of the demise, Safaricom announcing the passing of its CEO. We will be watching all that. We're also discussing a bit of that, but not to a large extent. But we also look at some of the news we're following so far, market-moving news that are likely to impact asset prices. One of them is, of course, the latest revelation that Nairobi housing plans plunged to a 5-year low. We followed the other time we were talking about KRA saying that, I don't know that's KRA, some government agency saying that tax stamp duty tax, yes, stamp duty revenues were actually down. This is the second news on top of that. Nairobi house plans.
Yes, it's going
What's going on in the real estate sector?
Nothing much actually is happening. There's actually been a push, and this started 3 years ago, into the commercial space.
Yeah.
The retail sector, we haven't seen a lot. But George, you can't also ignore what's happening in the economy. It's not doing well. Friday last week, GDP numbers were out.
Yes,
first quarter
yes,
it's 5.6%. Same period last year, 6.5%. So there's actually no growth. The worst affected industry is agriculture. So if you're saying agriculture, which is a mainstay of our economy, has been affected largely because of rain, then in effect, there's a trickle-down effect that says your consumer, the person who would be buying your retail housing, may not necessarily be able to afford it. So then where's the investment case for that sector?
Yeah, you're right. I mean, there's a lot happening on the macro side.
Yes.
Well, obviously, the top news being that Q1 GDP came in printed at 5.6%.
Yes.
Which is slightly lower than the above 6%.
6.5%.
6.5%,
yes,
printed in Q1 2018.
Yes.
Obviously, tells you a lot. There's a bit of stress in the economy.
There's a bit of stress factors.
We'll have another discussion whether GDP is the best measure of
productivity,
economic health
and output of the economy.
We can have another discussion around that.
Certainly.
I do have, but the second news we are following is that digital lenders have formed an association, Bide.
Wow.
To push for a self-regulation agenda.
Okay.
Do you know how many digital lenders are in Kenya?
Please tell
52.
me. Okay, they're more than the banks. Those are many.
52.
Many lenders in that space. That's a lot.
So they're coming up together. I think initially they've come together. 12 of them have come together.
Wow.
In the hope of pulling the other members.
Okay.
So they can. I think ostensibly they want to fight a potential for prudential regulation. But do you think self-regulation is the way to go?
It makes sense. It makes sense.
They need an external watchman.
It has first the self-regulation in terms of having a self-regulating organization, an SRO. It has actually helped with the NSC. So the NSC has come to a space where they're a self-regulating organization, and it's up to them and the board membership as well as the executive team to be able to call out good behavior. With anything, there are merits and there are demerits. I certainly appreciate that they're saying, you know what, if we're going to be in this space, we have to find a way to regulate ourselves ahead of the potential
code of conduct.
Code of conduct. Because there's a lot of talk from central bank that there could potentially be regulation, but it's better for you to be able to spearhead the element of that regulation, so in a way it also addresses the interests of the people in that space. Yeah,
you don't. My view is that they still need, even if they're coming up, and as much as they're coming up with the self-regulation, I think they still need some form of institutional regulation. Whether you're an analyst, you're regulated by Institute for Certified Investment and Financial Analyst.
That's very true.
You attended the AGM last week.
Yes, we attended the AGM, but it's our members who actually sit on the board. And it's our members who sit on the committees.
Yes.
So what I'm seeing the club of digital lenders starting to do is to say, we're the people who are in this business. We understand the challenges and the opportunities, why don't we start defining the framework for the regulatory, of the regulation in advance? Okay. So I'm looking at it in terms of, I like that they're doing that. They could be doing that just to create a small little club of a few people,
effect.
Club effect, and then it doesn't work.
Discussion,
exactly. So I hope they're not doing the whole club effect element, but you have to start somewhere. It's better to have 12 of you in a space where you're defining the regulation than none of you thinking about it.
Hold on to that. Club effect. We're going to discuss that a lot in the next session. But up next, take a short break. Up next, the commodities update.